Welcome to the 2022 Winter Classic Student Cluster Competition Studio Update Show. Now, here are your hosts, Dan Olds and Addison Snell.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another 2022 Intersect 360 Research Winter Classic Invitational Student Cluster Competition Studio Update Show. I'm Addison Snell alongside Dan Olds. Dan, we're getting down to the finals. The teams have gone through their latest challenge, which was running OpenFOAM at AWS. And have we had a little movement on the leaderboard?
I got to tell you, I've been in this game a long time, 12 years. This is the biggest late game move, the most profound change in the leaderboard that I have ever seen.
The golfers just played the Masters, and they refer to the second to last challenge as moving day. That would have made this moving day for the teams.
Oh, yeah. We had 4 place changes. It's not the number of place changes. We had a few more last week, but it's how big they were and how it was done. Do you believe in miracles?
By one team in particular. Now let's go back in time. We started this competition. In the first challenges, we had LINPACK and we had the HPCG benchmarks. And this was when Tennessee State planted their flag by changing the game and coming up with an optimization that no one else came up with on HPCG and really put a gap between them and the competition. And although 2nd through 6th were very close, we were saying for anyone to catch Tennessee State, the same kind of thing was going to have to happen with someone really doing a game-changing move. Have we seen anything like that here, Dan?
We have. Something big happened. And do you believe in miracles?
I do. So tell us what happened.
Okay. Well, let's start out with the challenge. Okay. Right. As you said, it was OpenFOAM. I believe it was modeling a car or a motorcycle or something like that, but that's not what's important here.
OpenFOAM, a very popular open source computational fluid dynamics code. Now, CFD is a very broad area. It shows up in a lot of different vertical markets. As our original co-founder, Chris Willard, liked to say, God loves fluids. They show up all over the place. OpenFOAM is an open source alternative, very popular code.
Very popular.
Students got to use at AWS. Go ahead.
Big hit with them. And their task was to optimize OpenFOAM for this model while keeping the drag coefficient of the model within a specified range. So in other words, keeping the same accuracy. Yes.
How fast can you get it to run and still have the same accuracy?
Exactly. And they had to run it on 2 different architectures, an 8-node Intel and an 8-node AMD cluster that are required to turn in both runs. And they had to run at least 500 iterations on each. And so no small task.
This was a challenge. Again, not every team got it done. Either they didn't get things submitted or they got things submitted, but the drag coefficient changed to where it was out of bounds. And then that's not a valid result, right? Yeah, we had to see who could run it the fastest while still getting a valid result.
Exactly. So let's take a look at the detailed AWS leaderboard. See how they did. Bottom 3 teams didn't really change. Spellman and Morehouse had some problems with this. Channel Islands, don't panic. Invalid results. That was the problem. They were outside of the accuracy bound.
And you notice there are 2 different components here. There's an AMD component and an Intel component. And then we converted the time into a normalized number of points.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Keep going.
Cal State Fullerton submitted on one, couldn't submit on the other. First full submission we have is Channel Islands, Ecos Engineers. Not bad.
Well done.
But take a look at the normalized points. That should be a clue as to what happened at the top of the leaderboard.
Points. And then as we go up, they're all in this same range. They're all doing... this seems like you're doing okay if you're the same as everybody else.
We got the 2 Texas Tech teams coming in, 5.24, 5.67, as is the pattern. They're staying close to each other. And then we have Florida A&M, which has been as high as 2nd. Fayetteville, by the way,
Fayetteville's been coming on strong recently.
They have been coming on strong.
We've seen good scores out of Fayetteville State.
Yeah, ever since the NASA.
UTEP. And so you're the ones that are really on top of the group of peers that did submit, where you've got dense, you're doing 20, 30, 40% better than some of the other teams just behind you. That's considerable.
Yes.
I think.
We're going to pause here because now, wish we had a drum roll. But let's take a look at the next team. Who came in number 2?
Tennessee State. They've been 1 or 2 in everything. Now here their number 2 score. They're twice as good as a lot of the other teams on the board. And that nets them 11.5 points. Wait a minute, out of 100? What could have happened?
What happened? Here we go. Prairie View A&M happened.
Oh my goodness.
And they topped everybody. Take a look at the seconds. 83.1 versus Tennessee State, 563.8. 64.3 versus Tennessee State, 775.
My word.
And this disparity in scores caused some discussion between
more than an order of magnitude between Prairie View A&M and the big, thick peloton behind them. They've just blown everyone away. And Dan, you're right. We discussed this because you did what we do here. You normalized you normalized the points and figured it out of 100, the same what we've done before. And you and I discussed, do we need to put this on some kind of a curve or some kind of exponential scale? Should it be smooth somehow? Because we haven't seen anyone blow it away like this previously. But we have seen similar. Tennessee State did similar on the HPCG benchmark.
Not to this degree,
but because we didn't put any of the other ones on a curve, we thought, well, that'd put Prairie View A&M at a disadvantage if suddenly we put this one on a curve and change the rules.
We just couldn't do it. We had to stay consistent.
Had to stay consistent to be fair to everybody. All of a sudden, Prairie View A&M blows it out. Now, what did they do? How'd they do that, Dan?
They there's 2 ways of speaking of this. The AWS people told me they minimized the size of the problem by minimizing the mesh. But I think in your and my discussion of it, what they did is it's coarser. It's a coarser mesh.
A coarser mesh essentially takes some of the calculation out of it. And when they went coarse, normally you worry about doing that because you might lose accuracy in the model.
So you hold accuracy steady,
refinement, but
you hold accuracy constant and see how coarse you can go.
And they did. They made the mesh coarser,
damn coarse.
And they got the same drag coefficient, so it was a valid result.
And they ran it 500 times.
Amazing.
Just as
Absolutely
they were supposed
amazing.
to. It really is. When I saw these numbers, I had to ask, is this a typo? Somebody drop a digit, move the decimal point somewhere? Nope. This is what happened. And I got to tell you, the AWS people, I got an email from Evan, the kind of the lead mentor. And he said, this is fantastic. This is exactly what I tell my mentees is work harder or work smarter, not harder. And it's just an incredible result here.
Well done, Prairie View A&M, shocking the field. Now, Tennessee State, they did well relative to everybody else other than Prairie View A&M. We were saying we weren't sure anyone could catch Tennessee State. Should we look at the big board and see what happened? Is it possible?
Well, we shall see. And it's a rags to riches story. Let's take a look at the big board now.
Bottom of the board, unchanged. Not a lot that we're going to comment on there. And
no, it stayed pretty much the same. And
everyone else because of the way the points got curved out, no one else got enough points to really make huge changes in the ordering.
Really do much. We did have Fayetteville slipped a little bit, or no, actually Fayetteville gained a little bit. And let's just go up the stack.
It's up at the top where it's going to be interesting. Now we still have that very dense pack, 3rd through 6th. Texas Tech is in there. Florida A&M is in there.
UTEP's in there.
The Texas Tech Red Raiders team is now still ahead of there.
Yeah, but let's talk about that for a second. Is we have some gaps, but we only have 100 points left. We have one 45-minute interview.
Team interviews are still to be done.
How much are those scores going to vary?
We shall see.
I don't know, but
it's hard to imagine they're going to vary by 90 points, where one team gets not 100 on an
unless
interview
we've got a no-show.
10. Yeah, it's I expect the students to all do pretty well on the interviews and how they showed up. You could get some points difference, but not 100.
10, 15, maybe 20 points difference in those.
Yeah, so it's going to be tough for those teams 3rd through 6th. They'll shuffle, but tough to catch the leaders. They're now,
but it's even
60, 70 points behind.
It's going to be tough for University of Texas El Paso to catch the Red Raiders, for instance.
Yeah, sure.
That's what, a 15-point variance.
Possible, but that's kind of the outside of it. Now, there we are with the Red Raiders in 3rd. That leaves us with Prairie View A&M and Tennessee State. What's going on at the top? Did they make up the whole gap?
Here we go. Tennessee State coming in.
Prairie View A&M just behind Tennessee State by 2.21 points.
Isn't that incredible?
Oh, my word. Prairie View A&M has essentially made up the gap on the second to last
Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly.
Katie, bar the door. Interviews. You can make up 2 points in an interview.
Oh, yeah, for sure you can.
One way or another. I mean, you can make up those points. 60 points? No. Just going to say it. This is now a 2-horse race for 1st and 2nd. The others are competing for that 3rd place trophy.
And Prairie View A&M did it by basically doing what Tennessee State did on HPCG. Now go back to that HPCG score. Prairie View had a good score on that one. They had the 4th best score on
4th or 5th.
Yeah. 4th best score on, 4th or 5th on HPCG. But then maybe made up that gap.
Actually, if you look at that number, they're more like 6th on HPCG. We had a bunch of 84.1s.
Okay.
But yeah, they made this all up on one massive overperform on OpenFOAM.
Well done.
Isn't that incredible?
It's done.
I haven't seen anything like this before. And of course, you got to look at their Oak Ridge machine learning. If they hadn't been one of those 4 to grab a perfect 100, we'd have a different topic in this show.
This is really going to be a lot of fun to go into the final interviews. Let's see what they do. We're a couple days away. On April 15th, we will have the gala unveiling of all the awards and the winners of this competition. And that's something that really looking forward to seeing how this goes.
This is a free-for-all. I mean, first and second for 2 of them. Well, yeah, but for 3rd through, let's say, 5th, that's definitely possible. I mean, they're playing for that 3rd place trophy.
Fair to say this is going to be Ali versus Frazier coming in here.
Though, I think it's different than that. This is more of a David and Goliath, because look at the dominant place that Tennessee State has had. in the competition.
Well, Tennessee State is still looking to go wire to wire, first place the whole way through. Now, what you got is a late charger coming up who now is going to have a surprising challenge at the post.
Came out of nowhere. I mean, Prairie View was in that 2nd through 6th clot, but by outscoring Tennessee State by so much. I mean, that's a 8-1, 8x more.
We'll be doing all the team interviews this week, and we'll get those scored up. And
we will
tune back in on April 15th and see how it turns out.
It's going to be amazing. Look at the bottom. We should have a link in the story that you're reading to get you to that gala award ceremony. Tune in. This is going to be something.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you. Stay tuned.